When I was younger, I frequently got lost and didn't know where to go when playing a Pokemon game. Luckily for me, there's this one guy named Marriland that made some great walkthroughs for each game. I've already used his guides to help me out in Pokemon Black and Pokemon Diamond, so now it's time to really bring back the good old days by using one of Marriland's walkthroughs to help me beat Pokemon HeartGold, which is also the very first Pokemon game I ever touched. Now it's been a solid 8 months since I've made one of these videos, so I wouldn't blame you if you need a quick rundown of how things are going to work. I will be following the walkthrough as closely as I can. This means taking the same route through the game, picking up all the items, and doing a couple other things that Marriland does in his guide. Unlike the other two videos though, he doesn't provide a list of his team at certain points in the game, so I am allowed to use whatever Pokemon I want. However, the walkthrough might make some recommendations, which I will probably take into account. Another difference from the other two videos is that I will be playing through the post-game because it's Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. If you don't go to Kanto, are you really completing the game? Anyways, that's all you need to hear, so without further ado, let's beat Pokemon Heart Gold the Marriland way. Back in these days, we only had 7 spaces to name our character, so unfortunately, I had to go with TQ for this playthrough. The walkthrough told me to choose whatever starter I wanted, so I went with Chikorita, not only because I don't pick it very often, but I also want a little more of a challenge this time around. Marriland commented on the old man's speed in Cherry Grove City, and yeah, I gotta admit, I wouldn't want to challenge this guy to a race. Okay, am I just stupid? Or did you guys also not know that you can make notes on your map in the Pokegear? This seems like a very pointless, yet kind of cool feature. And it's probably the first of many things that I didn't know about, but will learn by reading this guide. While heading back to New Barktown, I made short work of rival Cyndaquil with my boy Pear. And yes, I named my rival, because that's what Marriland called him. Professor Elm was then baffled by the fact that I had a Pokemon egg, but I agree with Marriland, it's literally common sense. I knew that I would need another team member to help me beat the first gym, so I picked up a Geodude on Route 46, who I called Rockstar. I decided to select the option for changing impossible evolutions when making this ROM, so we will get a Golem through level up, making this catch even better. In Sprout Tower, I noticed the first small mistake in the walkthrough. It stated that all the Bellsprout knew Razor Leaf, but in reality, they actually have Vine Whip. I know I sound very nitpicky, but I wanted to point it out anyways. I then asserted my dominance against Faulkner early on, as I used Chikorita to kill his Pidgey. It was then Geodude's turn to deal with Pidgeotto, and after that, we claimed the first badge. So apparently, the Ruins of Alph has a lot more to offer than I initially thought. First of all, by smashing the rocks, you can find the different colored shards, but you also have a chance to get max ethers, max revives, the dome or helix fossil depending on the game, and even the old amber. Furthermore, if you interact with the text in the back of the first puzzle room, and then use an escape rope, a secret passage opens up that leads to an energy powder, heal powder, oranberry, and Pekka berry. It's crazy that I've had this game for so long, yet there are still things that I had no clue existed. When I was reading the page on the Slowpoke well, Marriland made note on an interesting fact about Proton. Basically, in the Japanese versions of the games, each Team Rocket executive is named after a different rocket or missile that was crafted in the real world. However, Proton's name in those versions is Lance, and obviously, there's already a very important character named Lance in the English version. Because of this, the developers decided to change his name to Proton. In the walkthrough, Marriland fights the rival before the gym, which is something I usually don't do, but whatever, let's do it. As you can tell, I hatched the Togepi egg, and believe it or not, I am going to add this thing to the team. First of all, it was able to take down rivals Gastly all by itself, and the fact that we can get Togekiss in this game is pretty sweet. Anyways, the rest of the battle was a clean one-shot sweep with Geodude. Rockstar continued his streak by knocking out Bugsy's Scyther and Metapod with ease. I then let Denny's take down Kakuna to win the fight. And yes, I called my Togepi Denny's because, you know, it's a breakfast place and Togepi is an egg. Okay, I should probably just move on. Marriland referred to the people in the basement of the department store as girls. I mean, to be fair, they are black belts, so they do have long hair, but I still found this funny. Staying in Goldenrod City, I decided to battle Whitney without any extra training, which was probably not my greatest idea. However, I managed to get by Clefairy and Miltank without losing a Mon, thanks to Poison Powder and Geodude's amazing defense. So I always knew that the Pokeathlon Dome was here, but I never knew that there was something called Aprijuice, which you make by throwing apricorns into an Apra blender. I guess you really do learn something every day. Anyways, Rival was waiting to ambush us in the Burnt Tower, but Denny's handled Gastly and Zubat, while Geodude, who I'm trying to evolve into Graveler before the gym, took care of Magnemite and Quilava. After that, I added a Magmar to the team for some nice Fire-type coverage. I also called it Derek, because, I don't know, it's definitely giving off Derek vibes. Morty ended up being way easier than I thought he would be. As a matter of fact, I didn't even need Graveler. Derek was already putting in work as Feint Attack knocked out Gastly and one of his Haunters. Togepi got into a sleepy stallfest with Gengar, as he could only hit me with Sucker Punch, but I kept on using Yawn and Charm. Eventually, I whittled him down with Extra Sensory, before also killing Morty's second Haunter with more Extra Sensories. A couple of things happened around Olivine City, as I found out that there is a trainer in the Pokemon Center who likes to show off the seals that she put on her Pokemon. I honestly forgot that these were in HeartGold and Soul Silver, but it's cool nonetheless. Additionally, I caught a Chinchou on Route 41 who I nicknamed Chinny for no reason at all. The following gym battles were incredibly easy. First up, Chuck's Primeape got one shot by a critical Extra Sensory from our brand new Togetic, while Poliwrath got whittled down by Chinchou before Pear came in to finish him off. It was then time for Jasmine, who, because of a critical hit on Steelix, was a clean, no damage taken, one-shot sweep. You guys could be witnessing history right now, as that might be the easiest time someone has ever had against Jasmine. In the Team Rocket headquarters, the fun facts about each executive continued. Apparently, Petrol is named after the Petrol rocket, which is a rocket used for research. On the other hand, Ariana gets her name from the Ariane rocket family. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but they are European rockets used to send payloads and materials into space. I'm not sure where Marriland is from, but he referred to the blocks of ice in the Mahogany Gym as snowballs. I don't know about you, but these are not the type of snowballs that I'm used to. Anyways, Price actually put up more of a fight than Chuck and Jasmine, as he was at least able to dish out a good chunk of damage to Bayleaf and Lantern before ultimately losing the battle. Afterwards, Professor Elm let me know that Team Rocket has taken over the radio, and it turns out they actually have. I've never bothered to check the Pokegear during this part of the game, but there is a legitimate message being broadcasted by Team Rocket. That's pretty cool. While dealing with all the shenanigans in Goldenrod, Rival challenged us to yet another boring fight. I say boring because it was just as easy as the rest have been so far in this video. To round off the fun facts about Team Rocket, Archer got his name from the Vimple R-73 missile, but NATO called it the AA-11 Archer. Anyways, after saving the day, I got my final team member in the ice path, which was Jinx, and I nicknamed it Jinx, but with an I instead of a J, because that's hilarious. I went into the final gym battle extremely underleveled, but because my team is just that good, I was still able to defeat Claire. Her Gyarados and Kingdra didn't give me too many issues, but it did take most of my team and a good bit of healing to deal with her annoying Dragonairs. I'm just surprised I was able to win this one though. At the end of Victory Road, Rival had one more chance to prove himself. However, I basically had a super effective move for each of his Pokemon, so this battle was relatively easy. After grinding my entire team to level 43, here's a quick recap before taking on the Elite Four. It's really annoying that the Shiny Stone and Magmarizer are not available until post-game, so we're stuck with Togetic and Magmar for now. However, everyone's moveset is looking pretty strong, so I think we can handle Lance, even though we're underleveled. Well, that was easy. Lance was the only battle where I actually had to use some healing items, as his Dragonites gave me some trouble. Anyways, I'm not sure how much content there will be to show off in Kanto, besides Red of course, but I definitely hope there's some interesting features. So I may be cutting straight to the Red fight, or I could be cutting to something else. I don't know, I just write these scripts as I go. I guess I don't explore the post-game enough, because apparently you can find Crasher Wake and Maylene just chillin' in Celadon City. This is a really cool way to sort of reward the player for going out of their way and checking out some of the random buildings. Speaking of going out of the way, I ran into our good friend Rival in Mount Moon. I'm not going to bore you with the battle though, because it went the same exact way as the rest of them. Also, Route 3 is where you can change the forms of Deoxys, which is a pretty cool detail that I never knew about. At last, it was time to find out if Marriland's walkthrough could help me conquer one final task, defeating Red. The battle opened with Pikachu missing Iron Tail, so one Earthquake from Golem did the trick. Next up was Lapras, so I went over to Meganium to use the Light Screen before dealing massive damage with Petal Dance. Pear did go down, but Chinny finished the job with a Thunder. Venusaur got one-shot by a critical Fire Blast, while Blastoise couldn't survive 2 Thunders. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get through the entire fight without healing like I wanted to, because Snorlax was just a tank. I threw almost all of my team members at him, and after some max revives, Snorlax eventually died. Last out was Charizard, but 2 Surfs won us the battle. I'm honestly surprised that I was able to beat Red while being that underleveled, but I'll take it. This video was a load of fun to make, as not only was I able to use Pokemon that I've never used before, but I also learned some new things about one of my favorite video games of all time, all while getting a blast from the past by reading through Marriland's guide. Let me know what you guys thought of this video, and if you want to see me beat other Pokemon games the Marriland way, by leaving a comment down below. As I mentioned, this video was very enjoyable to create, so I will probably make more of these types of videos no matter what. Anyways, before you head out, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell to see more if you haven't already. And until next time, deuces!